There are some who would argue that there is no such thing as a perfect tuna taco because tuna don't belong in a taco, Jack. Even at dedicated seafood places, they are the stepchildren of the menu. But look at what Ralph Gilmore has done. He is one of the undersung heroes of the Austin food scene. I still to this day can't tell you that I have seen a single other tuna taco treated the same way he does, where you take absolutely first-rate ingredients and put them on something as simple as a taco. How you put that blackening spice on it and you sear it, but you maintain its integrity, that's beautiful. You take the first bite, you get that nice tuna taste in there. You're sitting in Austin with tortillas, having sushi-grade tuna. Yes, hell yes. The tortilla is just a platform for your creativity. A taco becomes what you want it to become.
I can only appreciate what other people say about it, but I don't, when I say something good about something I've done, it's based on what somebody else said. I'm not gonna sit here and say I wanna earn it. So I don't know how to just say, yes, I've been told many times it's the best tuna taco, but I don't know how to say it.
Well, until I ate Ralph's tuna taco, I didn't know what a perfect taco was.
Really, the best tuna taco you're ever gonna eat is that one. To me, it has to be blackened fish. Like, you need that spice, that extra heat on there.
And flour tortilla and all his fixing on it, to me, hit the spot.
You can relax for a second and take a break and have a bite of this thing that's really fresh and tasty and delicious and spicy and, yeah, the best version of that thing that you've had.
Ralph is larger than life, I've got to tell you. But when you shake his hand, you kind of wonder which life that was. This guy has an element of danger to him. And talk to him just a little bit, and you'll find that this is somebody who's lived a life way outside of the kitchen.
I mean, I don't know. I've been real creative, and that's maybe why he's saying it. I've done multiple things, from designing homes to designing bikes to opening my first business in oil change. I don't know. I live a pretty crazy life, but I'm humble, you know, so.
I remember thinking that the food truck looked like it had been dredged up from the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico and kind of dragged into town. There was like seaweeds and mermaids still hanging off of this rust bucket. And you met this guy. When he started talking about his food and its freshness and where he got it and his purveyors and his friends at the Gulf, it didn't sound like a bunch of marketing hooey. It sounded like this dude has had cold beers with a dude that brings in fish from the Gulf maybe 2 days ago. The beers 2 days ago, the fish that day probably. And it was really cool to see somebody who gave so few fucks, if I can say that.
Who takes a cargo container, cuts the windows out, cuts the floor out, puts in the stove, puts it on a trailer, takes it to the middle of Congress Avenue and start cooking fish tacos. Who does that shit? If I put all three brothers together, he's probably the smartest one. And he's also probably the dumbest one. And I mean that in the most loving way.
You want to talk about a successful restaurant. I went down to Jack Allen's Kitchen on a Monday night. It was 45 degrees and raining, and it was packed. I see him slapping people on the shoulders and talking to people at happy hour, and he seems to really know his customers and care.
He's the guy who'll stop and take a selfie with you and that kind of thing. And I love that his personality flavors the restaurants that he's opened, and they have flourished.
I run this restaurant like I do running a family and a fatherhood. I don't lose sleep at night caring about the business. I lose sleep at night caring about my staff. Right now we have 425 to 450 employees, and I think they respect that. I think the staff respects it.
You know, Jack and Ralph, I think both take populist approaches to serving customers. I think they have a similar ethos in terms of sourcing and in terms of caring about farmers and ranchers and fishermen. But Jack obviously has mastered kind of the broad populist appeal.
He used to go every day 100 miles an hour. I was more, I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna do it. I'm not in a hurry. We're not competing with each other. We're not trying to outdo each other. By no means is he a chef. By no means am I a chef. I act like one. Son Bryce is a chef.
Bryce Gilmore obviously started Odd Duck Farm to Trailer and then turned that into Barley Swine, which twice in the past 6 years was my #1 restaurant in the city. All hyper-local, hyper-seasonal, super deserving of a James Beard Award Best Chef Southwest.
You've seen no shortage of writing about Bryce. I mean, once you get in food and wine, you're part of that system. You're gonna have 2 of your restaurants in the Austin American-Statesman's top 5. So with everything that's been written about his brother and his nephew, Ralph has been perfectly happy to be off to the side. I hesitate to say that he's been in Jack Gilmore or Bryce Gilmore's shadow. And you can either sit in his shadow or you can get the hell out of the way because he's gonna do exactly what he wants to do.
What a dumbass. You know what I mean? So God bless him for blowing through millions of dollars, and God bless him for starting over 2 or 3 times. But what he does is first class and incredible. And these fish tacos are off the chain.
People said, why would you want to do seafood in the trailer? I'm like, why wouldn't you want to? I think I'm just part of the keeping Austin cool, man. Just keeping Austin weird. If I do what I want to do and people like it, then I'm going to make it. I'm just not going to change to be what somebody else wants me to be.
You know, I don't want to say I didn't think he could do it because I had watched the food trailer. I went to the Yelp reviews. I thought they were fake at first. Just 5 stars across the board. His Yelp reviews were higher than one of the best sushi restaurants in our town, with his specials written on cardboard.
It took over a year just to get to where you were breaking even, you know? I was just like, what's taking so long? Everybody that leaves there is so happy. The first South by came, and like I knew South by would be good, but I didn't think I was in the right spot for South by. I did 1,700 people a day for 10 days. It was a cash cow, you know? So it's like, I believe in myself. I believe in my product. I gotta stay with it.
Since Ralph opened and we opened near the same time, that was my break, was having Ralph's food. We knew that it was short term. We knew at some point the huge Marriott was coming, and he had been talking about this opportunity to basically buy the kitchen at the Baca Street Bar. I talked to my partner, and we really believed in what he was doing in terms of food and people, and we decided to take the leap and help him have a permanent home.
I knew I was on the right path when a random person on the street stopped me and said, the best thing you ever did for your bars was put Ralph in there. His appearance and his expertise on cooking and running a business, they don't mesh together sometimes if you don't know him.
You have an expectation that he's gonna be this kind of guy out of East Texas, and
He's limping around with his bad foot. He's missing his front tooth.
he wasn't missing a tooth at the time. That has happened later.
People always like, that's the owner? But when he's talking food and he's talking business, he's spot on.
I think the way I set it all up, it's really unique. I started as a trader. I got 8 years in it. Now one brick and mortar's already proven. The second brick and mortar's already getting into profit. The third one's not far from profit. And I teamed up with a bar. I know I could sell it for a lot of money. I'm 58 years old. I got 3 kids and 2 granddaughters. And I really like to just leave them something, you know. We don't have time to socialize, really. If your restaurant's open 18-hour days, you pretty much work 18-hour days. So the only time we really meet up for sure is Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Ask Jack for a bread knife.
I asked my brother to lend me his lake house, so I'm gonna do some seafood and some filet mignons and some lobster tails, and I'll make some veggies and some potatoes and just kind of freestyle it.
Is that thing working okay?
Yeah.
We ought to open a restaurant.
Yeah, let's do a breakfast plate. Hey, let's do a breakfast plate together. That's what Austin needs.
Oh my God.
What did Mima say? Did she say she want to work at Hooters?
I got my mom coming, and I got my oldest daughter, Brooke, coming. Her daughter, my granddaughter, Mercedes, coming. I got my last ex-wife, Desiree, and my daughter, Skyla. My first ex-wife, Wendy, and her daughter, Rihanna, coming. And we all get along.
He's an incredible family man. All his kids turned out to be great. Hard workers, smart, just good people.
Very humble about it.
Man to man, brother to brother, I respect that. The fact that we share the same last name, I guess means something to some people, but I want to do my own thing. Bryce wanted to do his own thing, and Ralph wanted to do his own thing.
Austin is no longer a town where it's just cheese enchiladas, Tex-Mex, and barbecue. We are all of those things that the Gilmores represent as well. And you've got Ralph on one end, and to me, Ralph was part of that wave of doing adventurous culinary experiments in trailers. And then over to Jack, who's somewhere in the middle. He kind of is, he's just right for everybody. Then you've got Bryce, who has been experimenting out on the ragged edge, and it's unusual, it's beautiful to look at. It kind of starts creating Austin as an artistic place to go.
These are guys who obviously relate to food. They obviously relate to people and serving people and making people happy. And I think they're helping redefine what Texas cuisine is.
I'm just doing the same old thing that I've always done, and that's always been my motto. I'm one of the only hole-in-the-wall places in Austin left. You know, there's definitely high rises all around us. There's a 58-story in front of us, condos and motel all around us. But I know I'm not changing. We're gonna just keep doing what we do. To me, to have a perfect tuna taco, you have to find the perfect tuna. It's fresh, and it's 8-ounce cut steak. You crust that outside that tuna, then you throw it on a hot, hot, hot plate, and just watch it just smoke up and sizzle until you get that crust. Then you flip it, do the same thing to the other side, and then when you cut the thing, you just see all the love inside that crusted tuna. So I can't help but have joy.